Hello everybody, welcome to my 5th Resistance 3 weapons class setup and review and overall just guide, and today we're doing the Marksman. We are playing on the Broadway map, which is a New York set map, and all New York maps have a snow variable to them. And not to mention, the New York maps are well known for sniping. Now as you can tell, I'm not using a Deadeye or any kind of technical sniper like that, but why the Marksman then? Well, the Marksman is a long-range weapon. It is the second long-range weapon in the category of range. Its power is pretty high, but it would take about maybe 3 or so bursts to the body to take out an enemy, as you can see here. And quite possibly 1 to 2 shots to the head to take an enemy out that way. If anything, the Marksman is a usually guaranteed headshot kill if you are accurate and if you get the range on him. Now, let me kind of explain a little bit about the Marksman first. The Marksman to me is like the M5A2 carbine. It is a human assault rifle. And although the M5A2 carbine is a completely different rate of fire, and has a different, firing system, where the M5A2 carbine is actually automatic, this weapon is burst. Now, the Marksman to me is a bigger, and once again it's a bigger, bulkier, burstier form of the M5A2 carbine. Different secondaries and stuff like that. This one does not have a grenade launcher on it though, but its accomplice is a little miniature turret that will do quite decent damage at level 1, but when upgraded to its second level, the Tempest turret, it could get you some potential kills. Now, I'm going to go ahead and explain the primary fire and the upgrades to the Marksman first. The primary fire, once again, is a burst assault rifle weapon, and if you want to compare it to anything really, I kind of hate saying this, but you could compare it to the G11 from Black Ops. Yes, I know, I said it, it's fine. But that's basically what a lot of people would kind of recommend this weapon as, because it does come with a scope, and it doesn't. You can have a scope on or not. But on this game, when you upgrade a weapon, that's what it comes with. It comes with what it, should come with, I guess you could say. The primary upgrade to it is a Eagle Eye scope, which a lot of people say that they don't like, and I wouldn't really blame them. I myself don't mind it really. I've gotten used to it. I used to love the iron sights in this weapon, and so far I've been using the Eagle Eye a little bit more often than I did the iron sights. It increases your range overall for how far you can see. So I guess, and petty differences, it pretty much is a useful scope, if nonetheless. You're going to have to upgrade it anyway if you wish to use this weapon and you want to get to the full final level. The secondary upgrade, once again, is the Tempest turret, which does more maximum damage, and its firing rate is about maybe a shot a second. You could say like it shoots out a bullet every second or so. So if there is a enemy in sight and you just want to get away and kind of make them a little bit angry, go ahead and use the secondary, because these things could get you some kills. Now, if you're just saying, you know what, I don't want to go anywhere near anybody. There's like a group of enemies over in this building over here, and I really don't want to mess with them right now. Shooting a Tempest turret, or a turret in general, inside of the building could allow your team to come in, and you could probably get a kill. If your team doesn't get the kill for you, or whatever happens, the turret could possibly get that kill. The turret also can unleash onto ceilings and walls and various objects, but not enemies. Don't try that. Now, I'm also running around with a Hedgehog, kind of like the Deadeye. Well, once again, it is a long-range component, and I figured if I need to, not necessarily camp, but sit and wait to take out an enemy, and I don't want to kind of cover my back because I don't have a turret on me or anything like that, well, I'll go ahead and throw a Hedgehog down to watch my flank. But I'll also use the Hedgehog to my advantage as a throw weapon, kind of like the shrapnel, where I throw it ahead of me to take out an enemy that way. Kind of a little bit annoying, yes, but getting the kill, it would be there to get the kill, I guess you could say. Now, let me go ahead and explain the abilities I'm using. I'm using Thermal Vision and Ammo Beacon. Marksman uses about 36 bullets per magazine, along with the M5A2 carbine that uses about 32 a magazine, but the total overall ammo capacity for the M5A2 is 32 plus 108. Why do I say plus 108 to do the math anyway? Well, one, because I'm lazy, and two, that is the overall ammo that you actually come with anyway, as this one has 72 and plus 36 that you can use. I kind of count them as a separate thing because one's in a magazine, the other ones are just on you in general. So overall, this one has less ammo but more power than the M5A2. This one's less versatile but more range than the M5A2. It is the M5A2 counterpart with a Deadeye mix, I guess you could say. It has that snipe potential, although you probably shouldn't use it to snipe. You kind of want to use it just to take out enemies at a decent enough range, medium to long range. Now overall, the close quarter fight component with it isn't that strong. The hipfire is once again very weak, you could say. So I threw on a attribute that does help, but I didn't throw it on because of that reason. The marksman's reload time is very slow. It takes about maybe 3 or so seconds just to reload the dang thing. So I whipped out Gunslinger, of course level 2, which gives me the ability to have increased hipfire. Yes, once again, I don't use this weapon as a hipfire weapon, but in case of trouble or emergency, I'm up to do so. And the overall reload speed totally is a great increase to the weapon itself, because you will be reloading often with the 36 clip, kind of like, once again, a carbine where you have to reload quite often, and that's just a habit of mine. I do reload a lot. Now, the other attribute that I use is Berserk. I use Berserk to get my Berserks faster, which, your first Berserk goes from 3 to 2, your second goes from 6 to 5, and your last comes from 9 to 8. Now, why do I use it on a marksman? Well, I use a marksman as a ranged, yet a runaround weapon. It's kind of hard to explain, really. I use it to get from position to position to position. So, using Berserk to get that one less kill streak will probably help me get from one area to another. You have the human side, which comes with an assault shield. That'll allow me to run in, and either, if I wanted to flank him, I could flank him. If I need to get somewhere and take no damage at all, I can do that. Same thing with the cloaked, but you do take damage, and you will probably get shot at if seen. And thermal vision also can see people who are cloaked as well. That is a counter factor that comes with it. Now, I don't use the kill streaks, as I said, but if I need to, that's what I use them for. I use them to get them faster so I can help out the team, and basically overall get my personal kill streaks a lot easier. There are really no other attributes I could really think of at the time as well that comes with the marksman, so I just go ahead and say, why not just go Berserk, because that seems to be a useful enough attribute, so I did it. Now I'm also running with the abilities of thermal vision once again. Why thermal vision? Because it allows me to see maybe about a few meters ahead of me, 20 or so meters ahead, so I can at least kind of scan out who's where and who's, where they are at the exact time. So if I need to take them out while running into a building to take cover or something, that I can actually see where the enemy's positions are and not have to worry about looking at the mini-map or trusting that or anything like that. Now there is a counteract to that. It is the Scan Jammer level 2, which you cannot be seen by thermal, or you cannot be spotted at the same time. That could be a little bit of a worry for me, but most people don't even use Scan Jammer, so it's really kind of like, what the heck, might as well use it. So, I also use the Hedgehog to my advantage of throwing it at the door, so that if I was seen and the enemy comes to me, they'll run into my Hedgehog, blow up, and I'll get a free kill. Now, the other ability I'm using is the Ammo Beacon. Now, once again, I did say that the ammo on this weapon is very low. It's not the lowest capacity, no. It probably has one of the most, well, not the highest magazine, I wouldn't say, but it has a decent one, nonetheless. So, running around, like I said earlier, it has 72 plus 36. That's really not a lot if you think about it. And I'm going to be using this weapon as a flank, kind of use a ranged combat weapon. Somewhat versatile, you could say, but overall I like picking off guys at a distance. Kind of keep my distance away. Now this weapon also, once again, takes about 2 to 3 bursts to take out an enemy, so that in itself is about 6 shots I'm wasting, or 9 shots, or how many ever shots I am truly wasting. I do miss quite often. I'm not the most accurate person with the weapon, indeed, but that's where the ammo beacon comes in to help. If I need to resupply at the time, I'll just resupply. If I need to take cover once again with my Berserk and kind of get into a place and, kind of hide out and not worry about anybody, then I'll just resupply. It is a very helpful ability. It shares the same ability along with the Deadeye. The Marksman does. My bad. The Deadeye both, and the Marksman and the Deadeye both had the same abilities that I used, but for different reasons almost. The Deadeye, if I ever get spawn trapped, or if I'm ever caught in an emergency and I need to use thermal vision to see where my enemies are at, I can go ahead and put that out. But that's what the Marksman's used for, with thermal vision. It allows me to see where the enemies are at, so that I can get in there and take them out if need be. Now, you also notice thermal vision increases range when scoped in. So when you scope in on an enemy, you can see him a little bit clearer, and you can see at a farther distance if scoping in. That's where the Eagle Eye comes into play. The Eagle Eye increases your overall range with scope. So using thermal vision and the Eagle at the same time would definitely, help see where the enemy is. Now, I am kind of running out of things to talk about here. That's the first. Not really, but in my eyes, I will say that the Marksman is a decent weapon. Probably not good for first-time users. A lot of people say that the Marksman just is not what they thought it would be. It's just not that useful to them because it's a burst. Just, if you would, take the time and use it. No, it's not a perfect weapon. Not really at all. But it's definitely an over-average weapon to use. My eyes, I'd probably give it a 5 out of 5 if I was to rate the weapon myself. Basically because it can be used for even the most mundane tasks. You can use it for range. You can use it for you can use it for close range combat. It's not recommended in my eyes. Not really, but if you're ever crossing a crossfire with somebody and you just want to kind of get out of it, get away from it, all that good stuff, well, more than likely the Marksman could get you a kill if need be. The burst is one thing that turns off a lot of people from the weapon. They just don't know how to use it, or they just don't want to use it because they've been in long games that use burst constantly that just don't know how to use them. Just, if you will, give this gun a try. It is worth it totally. Totally worth it. When I first seen it when Resistance 3 was coming out, I knew that was my gun. I thought it was an actual automatic assault rifle at first. Just a bigger and bulkier one. And so I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. Then the person on the demo fired it, and I'm like, oh, it's a burst. Okay, that's even better. In my eyes, I prefer bursts or semi-automatics over automatic weapons. But, again, I'm a all-around person, whatever gun works for me, I'll use it. Now, I'm also sorry about the comparison to the G11, but a lot of people would probably say that is technically how they think it is. Well, I compared it to the COD one. You could say, okay, like the G11 in real life. How about that, then, How about the actual German G11 and all that? That is a potential comparison to this weapon. This weapon is only a burst set. It's not an automatic or semi-automatic set at all, just like the other guns, but anyway.